Hello, it's Amalia and Alana again. Today we are doing a tea episode because we had a coffee episode and a lot of alcohol episodes. It's tea. This episode is brought to you by Kroger 100% natural tea. Generic 100% natural tea. Like, are there teas that are fake? I have no idea. Anyway, it's a generic tea. This episode is about concrete. I love concrete. I love to work in concrete. I love to cast concrete. I don't like it when it gets on my skin and then I sweat and get a huge alkaline burn. But anyway, concrete's great, right? So I'm going to tell 3 stories about concrete. And the first one, because it is so cold outside, I mean, it's not that cold, but it's cold for me, is about Siberia. So, you know how cold Siberia is. Well, maybe you don't. Siberia is very, very, very cold. It's very close to the equator, and it is so cold that water is never liquid in Siberia, not even in the summer. Also the nights are 6 months long. It's crazy. So, anyway, when the Soviet Union decided to start exporting people they didn't like into work camps in Siberia, they were like, well, I guess we need to build some structures up there. But wait, how do we get the water to be hot enough to mix concrete? What do you do in that situation, right? Because they always build in concrete. They're like, concrete everything. So, they used vodka. They mixed the concrete in with vodka. And that is how they built buildings in Siberia for years. I think they might even still do it today. But you need a lot of vodka to build a building, by the way. Because you need, as much water as there is concrete. So, imagine how many vodka bottles, or I guess they probably use big casks or something they had to use to build all these fucking work camp buildings in Siberia. So that's pretty crazy, right? My other favorite, or I have 3 favorite concrete stories. My second favorite concrete story takes place in Morocco. And there was a sultan, this is after the period when Morocco was converted to Islam. There was a sultan who wanted to build a mosque, and it was also going to be his funerary temple, I believe. And he didn't want to do something normal. So he mixed the concrete with perfume. And you can still smell the perfume today. And it's been 350 years. That's crazy too, right? Okay, so third story about concrete. The Romans used concrete a whole lot. They built everything out of concrete and would just put marble facing on it. They're like, that was easy. And then, because the medieval Europeans decided everything that was pagan was bad, and they burned all the libraries, they lost the knowledge of how to make concrete. And it was discovered again in 1456, maybe 1456, somewhere in there. So there's a 1,000-year period when nobody has concrete in Europe. Other people did, but not in Europe. So concrete is made out of cement and an aggregate, which can be anything. You would use eggshells if you wanted to. Most people use gravel, or smashed up pieces of pottery or something, which is called grog. So there's this guy named Brunelleschi, who I may have mentioned in another video, and he got hired to build a bigger dome than they knew how to build. So he went to Rome, and he was living in Florence, and he went to Rome, and he started crawling around all over the Pantheon, which is a big fucking building with a giant dome on it built during the Roman Empire, and it's made of concrete. And he's looking at it, and the great thing about concrete is that it is a load-bearing material consistently. So, basically any shape that you make concrete into, it will be a load-bearing material, unlike something like metal, where if you made it a weird shape, it wouldn't be load-bearing. Which is why you can build such large structures out of concrete. So Brunelleschi, I don't know how he figured it out, somehow figured out that there was this that was made of concrete, and was like, well, that's what we need to do. He still put a brick facing on it, but he used cement and didn't just depend on the bricks to stack and hold together, like the other cathedrals being built in, like, France were built that way. So, anyway, he built this giant fucking dome, and he also reinvented scaffolding at the same time. And he also invented one-point perspective. And the reason why is because everybody before that in Italy would make a small wooden model of a building. And then all the builders would go off of this model. But Brunelleschi's like, no, that sucks. I'm going to invent a whole new way of drawing. And he did. And then he kept it a secret, except he told Donatello. And then Donatello told, he kept it a secret how he did it. And then he eventually told Donatello, because they were friends, who is one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then Donatello told this guy who was named, it starts with an A, Alberti. And Alberti published how to do it, how to draw in one-point perspective, which is a very interesting book, and I highly recommend you reading it, because it's fascinating. Sorry that wasn't as funny as many of my videos. Who would I sleep with in this story?
It's a personal question, isn't it?
I'm trying to decide. There's a couple hotties. There's a couple hotties in this story. Probably not anybody from the Soviet Union. They probably have big beards or something. I don't know. Maybe that Moroccan guy with the perfume castle. That'd be pretty sweet. Okay, I pick him. End of discussion.